is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about Cedi and the Cavaliers agreeing to a deal that nobody really seen coming. I didn't really see anybody reporting it. I didn't really hear nothing about they coming close. They not close. A lot of us thought that they wouldn't even extend it. But the Cavaliers agreed to a 4-year, $31 million extension with Cedi Osman. Osman will start with $8.6 million and decreases each season. And he was a second-round pick in 2015. This is a guy that was starting for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was able to give you 13 points last year in 76 games. He was able to shoot 42 from the field with 11 shots a game and 34% from three, 77% from the free throw line, and they only played one game this year so far. He gave the 13, and I think Cedi is a guy that a lot of people like. Every time I hear about Cedi, people like him. They got positive things to say about him, and honestly, that's always a good thing, and that's what you want to hear. But Cedi is a guy that 31 million is not really paying him that much money. You're paying the man 8.6 million, and then it continues to decrease every year. I don't see Cedi Osman as a guy that's going to be an all-star. I don't see him as a guy that's going to be a defender that's really going to be a 3-and-D guy. I don't see his offense being good enough for him to really be worth more money in the future. So I don't really see this deal as a steal. I don't really see this deal as a bargain. I just feel like they got a solid player that has talent. He has a young age at 24, being turning 25. You give him a 4-year extension. You know what he can do. You know what he can't do also, but you also know that he can knock down shots from time to time. So Cedi is a guy that probably wouldn't start on most teams. I know a lot of people feel like he's a starter. I say Cedi probably wouldn't start on any team that is really going to have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs, just because he's not really great at anything and he's not really a great defender also. So I think that just hinders his potential. But we know he can play. He started and he was solid. He didn't over impress me. He didn't blow my mind, but he also didn't disappoint. I didn't really expect Cedi to give them that much, but he ended up giving them double digits and giving them stability because he played in 76 games. And he was able to be at least productive in those minutes, and he gave what he could at the end of the day. He's not a super athletic guy also, in my personal opinion. He's not the greatest shooter, and he just can't, be a Sexton or a Garland. Those are the guys that they're going to build around for this team, and those are the two guys that are really going to make or break this team. And if I had to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of either one being franchise changing players. I know there was lottery picks and top 10 picks, but when I look at Garland and I look at Colin Sexton, I don't see superstar. I see quality starters, kind of like Osman to a certain extent, but I think they have a higher ceiling just because they have the ball in their hands a little bit more. They're better shot creators at their position, and they have improved to become decent, respectable shooters at this point in their career. So I really want to see what they do with Garland. He was a guy that they was real high on, and they really wanted to pair him with Sexton to make a speedy but unathletic and really no defensive end. And I think that's another thing that hurts the Cavaliers, is that they don't have any defense at all, especially in that starting lineup. And when you can't protect perimeter, you have to so many perimeter breakdowns with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton because they're so little. And you can shoot over them, and they just cause a lot of mismatch problems because they're undersized at that point guard and shooting guard position. And then you got to put on top of that, they don't have any rim protectors that can anchor that defense if they get beat off the dribble or they need somebody to rotate and help. They don't really have that anchor defensively. So I just want to see what the Cleveland Cavaliers going to do with this team and with this roster, because I see a lot of holes in this roster, and the people that they have on this roster, they solid.
They got a lot of solid players, but I don't really see anybody that you're ecstatic about or you happy that you have this particular person because they project to be a superstar. I know Garland was a guy that was drafted real high because of his ability to shoot and create his own shot and space out the floor, and he had the ability to play all ball. But Sexton can do that too. The only difference is Sexton has more experience because he played in a whole season already, and on top of that, he has proven that he can play at the NBA level and he can score at the NBA level at a decent amount of efficiency. But Garland hasn't proved anything because he only played one game and he didn't really play in summer league, and I didn't really see him do anything significant in preseason. So when I look at this team, there isn't that franchise foundation. It isn't that bright spot right now, and Jetty doesn't add to that. I mean, add to that. And when you look at the free agents this year, and you look at the fact that the draft ain't nobody going crazy over a particular player just yet, but we'll see as the NCAA season starts and goes who end up becoming that pick because they need a guy like LeBron. They need a guy that can really come in and change the culture, somebody that can literally come in and demand greatness, but also go out there and perform at a dominant level that can take over games, that can steal you games, but also that can make his teammates better and lead them. But the problem is they only had one LeBron, and he ended up winning them a title, and he ended up allowing Kevin Love to come to help him and Kyrie. Um, but they don't have no superstar. Even if you can't get a player like a once in a generational player like LeBron, they don't even have a player to me that can be a superstar. I love me some Colin Sexton. I have so much respect for his work ethic and his game. But I can see Colin Sexton being an all star. But it's a different level being an all star, being a superstar. And we done seen them get guys like Kyrie. Kyrie was on this team. He was rookie of the year. He gave them double digit points, and he was able to give them 20 points and become an all star in Cleveland. The only problem is he didn't really lead them to anywhere until they got LeBron. They didn't even make the playoffs once. So it shows you how hard it is to build a championship team around guards. Usually you building a championship team around forwards. And you can even look at Steph Curry. Iguodala won them finals MVPs and Kevin Durant did it. And I know they could have won a championship when they was up against the Cavaliers before they blew the lead. But a lot of people had Draymond winning that Finals MVP if they would have beat the Cavaliers that year, which isn't Steph Curry. So it just shows you how hard it is to build a team when you don't have perimeter defenders and you don't have an interior defender. So you don't really have a system or a way that you can really preach a certain style because you don't have guys that can take over and dominate games right now, and you don't have anybody that can literally hold everybody in order as a player because they're all young and they all still learning and they all following Kevin Love, but he never been a great defender really, and he has been a superstar caliber player, but he's not that anymore. This isn't Kevin Love 7 years ago. This is Kevin Love right now that has been banged up, toe up, and has been injured for a lot of even last year. He's the best player to me on this team, but how long is Kevin Love going to be around? Because this team isn't going to be winning anytime soon. I like their coach. I feel like they have the right coach that can get them there. They just lack so much talent. And that's why I brought up Kevin Love is because what's the odd of you getting a Kevin Love? Like I said, the last guy they had was literally Kyrie, but he couldn't even lead them to the playoffs. And they have two guys that have similarities to Kyrie. The difference is they're not as good as Kyrie, even his rookie season probably going to be better than their seasons this year and last year for Colin Sexton, which isn't a good look, especially because you have no other pieces. See, this team don't get free agents. They got free agents because they had LeBron. People wanted to come to Cleveland because they had LeBron. He had built that foundation. He has had respect around the league. Same with Kyrie. LeBron wanted to play with Kyrie. They drafted him. He showed out and became one of the best all stars in the game. And that attracted LeBron. But they don't have that piece right now. And the only way they can literally get it, since free agents don't really come to Cleveland, or it's not a priority to be in Cleveland, is through the draft. The only problem with the draft is how the odds and how the lottery works. It just makes it even harder that even if you suck, it's hard to get a franchise changing player because it's just so difficult to get that number one pick. They had Andrew Wiggins. They traded him in for Kevin Love, and Kevin Love is still on this team, but he's not the same anymore. And Andrew Wiggins haven't had the greatest career either in Minnesota. He got off to a hot start. He cooled off. So it shows you how hard it is to build a championship team. It shows you how hard it is to get great players and to keep them happy. We done seen a lot of superstars and all stars ask for trades throughout the whole 10 years that's been going on. Or they signing with other teams. They joining up with another star. And Cleveland just don't have those guys right now. And they was a team that was able to do that and cashed in the championship. But we'll see what happens. If I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm not really ecstatic about this. I'm not mad about it. And if you a guy that respect Cedi Osman like I do, you know he can play. You know he's an NBA player, but they didn't overpay him. They didn't underpay him. It's not going to hurt them in the future, and it's not going to make them significantly better either. So I like Cedi. This is a solid deal for both sides, and you don't have another wing that you can really count on right now. At least you know Cedi is young, and he's a guy that bought into the system. He's a team player. He hasn't whined and complained, and he go out there and do his damn job. So I give him credit on that because I do have respect for him as a player. But at the same time, it looks kind of cold right now in Cleveland. And they do get cold in there, so I guess that wasn't a joke. But it's cold right now in Cleveland, and they're going to really need that lottery to save this franchise again. But can they keep a player in Cleveland? They can offer him a lot of money, like we done seen. But Supermax have got more complaints than they have got players and people really respecting the Supermaxes. Everybody that got Supermax has got a lot of hate, and then they always seem like they regret giving it to a player. So this team is so far away from where they need to be, but at the same time, they did win a championship not that long ago. They still do have some decent players that can play, but they still so far away from even being a 30 to 35 win team, which isn't a good look right now. But if they get lucky in the lottery, maybe their fortunes can change in the next 3 years. Because when I look at this team and I look at the drafts in the future, I don't see a player right now that can save this franchise out of this draft first. And even next year, the next 2 years are just too far away to tell. But all you can do is draft, just like they got Cedi, just like they got Colin, just like they got Darius Garland, just like they got LeBron and Kyrie, and getting Andrew Wiggins allowed them to get Kevin Love. So we'll see what happens, but you also got to develop your players. You got to get push your players, and you got to put them in position to succeed. So we'll see what John Beeline do. I don't have nothing negative to say about him. I think he was the right pick, but he got a long journey for this Cleveland Cavaliers team to get back good, to even become a playoff team in Cleveland is difficult. But we'll see if he can get that challenge and get it done. I'm not going to doubt it. I'm not going to say it ain't going to happen. I'm not going to make it seem like they have no hope. But I got to keep it real with my fans as always. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, I'm gone. Let me know if it's a sneaky pickup still. Is it overrated, underrated? Do you like Cedi? Do you think he a bust? Do you think he's a good player just because he was a second round pick that's actually a starter caliber player? Whatever you feel about Cedi and his contract extension, let me know in the comment section below. I read every comment. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies, I break down players, I break down summer league. I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts, and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.